Hi, I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. It is Tuesday, so I'm here to critique one of your original paintings or drawings. If you have an original painting or drawing that you would like to submit for critique, head over to my website, lachri.com/critiques. That link is below in the video description, and you can submit your work there. That is the only place that I accept submissions. Today's work comes from artist Gray Taylor. You can check out more of her work over at her website, and this piece she has a speed painting of here on YouTube, and I would recommend just pause this video, go check that out, because a lot of what I'm going to be talking about in the information that I have on the way that she layered things is all coming from that video. This piece is stunning. I actually confused when I first glanced at the little thumbnails that came through on my email for this one. I confused your reference photo with the original artwork. Your painting looks more realistic to me than the photograph did. I think this is such a good example of the point of photorealism, something that people ask all the time, why bother, just take a photo? Because you just took that photo and improved on it significantly. The reference photo was great to start with. You increase the saturation and the contrast, the depth of all of the colors that you've used here, and it just makes the whole piece look so much more three-dimensional than the actual photograph does. Even the crop on this piece is just perfectly done. I love the way that you've done everything here. So why am I doing this critique if I think everything is perfect? Because there are still lessons to be learned here. You asked if there was an easier way to get this look with a little detail on the fur. I know firsthand how long it takes if you go through and line in each of those individual strands of fur. There are some things you can do to save some time. You can try a rake brush. The thing is with a rake brush, what a rake brush is instead of having your bristles all rounded or smooth, the bristles are kind of cut in a way that with one stroke of the brush, you get several little hair marks or grass marks or whatever it is you're using the rake brush for. The problem with the rake brush is you have a tendency to have it come out too uniform and too stiff. So even if I use the rake brush, I only use it for a few strokes, and then I come back through with the lighter brushes you had done and add more detail there. So some people like using the rake brush, but I don't think you're going to get anywhere near as realistic of a look as you did here with a single round or single liner brush. Now, watching the video, there were two things that I personally do different. And now, just to be clear, just because I do it different does not mean my way is the right way. You've got to figure out, and this is going to be the case for every artist, you've got to figure out what works best for you. Just because something works for me does not mean it's going to be the best method for everybody else. First is that you put so much more detail work in your charcoal drawing than I would have. Here, I think that while it is more detail than I would have put, you use this as your underpainting as I would use an acrylic underpainting. So I think that being that you were working in oil paint, you saved a lot of time in doing that. Even though it took a lot of time to draw that out, it probably did save you a fair amount of time. So that this may be something that's saving you time, it may be something that's taking a little bit more time than you need to. I would try doing some paintings without it just to see if it makes much of a difference for you time-wise. But part of me hates to recommend that because your end result was just stunning, and so I wouldn't want to mess that up. The second thing is that when you're doing all of your little lines for the hair, it looks like you're mixing different colors. Like if you're using an area or putting fur in a shaded area, you're actually mixing a deeper brown color versus the lighter whites and creams on other areas. For me, what I usually do when I have this much fur to paint in, I paint it in almost all the same color. Usually in a case like this, I would go with unbleached titanium white or the white, paint that on top of the base color. You have your dark colors first, which is perfect. I would paint the light fur marks on top of that, let the paint dry, and then glaze my shadows over it where needed. So I'm not having to continuously mix color for each individual area. I'm doing everything one color just to get the texture in the fur, all the detail, and then coming back and glazing over my shadowed areas. It's going to have such a similar look. It'll be a little bit different, but close enough. Most people are not going to notice the difference, and I find that to be faster than to keep mixing colors for each individual strand where I need it, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it makes sense. And when you're looking for little tricks that are going to save you time, it's going to vary, because something that might take me extra time, somebody else will be able to do, it saves them time. Now you will just have to figure out which works better for you. I would try both methods, once with glazing, once with, you've already done the mixing, see which one you like best. Now the last tip I have for you is on getting photographs of your artwork. You put so much work into this painting, you want to make sure that the photographs you're getting don't have that gloss or the glare, the shine coming off. One of the problems with oil paint, or any paint that has a high gloss to it, it is a pain to get good photos of it. So what I like to do is use natural daylight. I take my photos with a DSLR. I use natural light. I have never gotten a setup with artificial lights that looked good for a painting. I have just always had much better luck using natural light coming from a window. But what I do is don't put it in direct sunlight. I set up the painting so that it's at a 45-degree angle from my light source. So that helps with avoiding the glare, but I'll have to try different areas in the house because sometimes what works for one painting doesn't work for another. And so I end up taking so many photographs before I get one that is going to be good enough for a print that won't have all the little shiny glare marks. But I know it's extremely difficult to do with an oil paint that has a high gloss, but it is something that you'll want to try in several locations so that you can't see any of the glare on your canvas. Your work is amazing. I just cannot get over how awesome this painting is. Great work. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, I have new video critiques every Tuesday where I'm critiquing your original paintings or drawings, my own speed paintings, drawings, and tutorials every Wednesday, social media tips for artists each Thursday, and artist vlogs every weekend. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Google+. All of those social media sites are linked below in the video description where you can keep up with news, my newest work, and see real-time clips of whatever it is I'm currently working on. I'll see you guys tomorrow.